Hey guys, Richard here, Ryden's Room. This is part 2 of Season 5 of South Park, so pretty much continuing straight on. I'll just talk about the episode where I mentioned like other stuff like I did with part 1, like comparing it to old ones. But yeah, straight on then, so this should be a bit shorter. Episode 8, Towley. Now this is funny, just because of how insane it is. So Towley is a talking towel who's been genetically engineered to dry people perfectly after they have a shower or bath. What if he was meant to use for evil? What if he was like made to like become way too dry? Basically, the kids get involved in this government conspiracy. Like they receive the Akama Game Sphere, which apparently this is the GameCube, but it's just the shape of like the circle and the big green. It always reminds me of the Xbox logo. So to me, it's a combo between the GameCube and the original Xbox. No, Xbox One. There may be an Xbox One officially, but let's be honest, everyone calls the first console the One if there's multiple ones. PlayStation 1. If they use the same name as in PlayStation, Xbox. I know. Nintendo 1, Sega 1. But yeah, Xbox 1 is in the first Xbox one, 2001. I'm sure this is a mix of the two. But yeah, basically, kids get that. All they play is this game called Bonestorm is a Simpsons one. Thirst for Blood, where it's just this really gruesome, like, some sort of fighting game where you like hack each other with chainsaws and go into underwater levels. It's pretty insane. I'd love to see an actual game of that. But yeah, basically, they meet Towley. The government then steal their Okama Game Sphere as a bit of blackmail, so they hand over Towel, and the Towel they just get drawn as this insane stuff, and no one cares. The kids just want to play their Okama Game Sphere while like the world is like falling apart around them, and yeah, it ends with like this base that they're in getting blown up. Now you like Kenny of course plunges into a vat of lava. Then you got this evil version of Towley, who's like this pumped up steroided Towel who's like evil, and yeah, the kids get things like jumping into a base with parachutes on, they get given a photon laser rifle, and they don't care. All they want to do is play games. Well, like the government or other organisation pretending to be the government are fighting this alien race. It's great stuff. It's just so insane. And yeah, Towley is such a stupid character. Like I do like he's become a main character in later episodes. I won't say what, but it makes sense with his love of drugs. So yeah, funny episode. Definitely one of the better ones. So 9, Osama bin Laden has a party pants. Now, obviously, this is late 2001. It's from after September 11th, and it's ultimately about stopping the Taliban and making bin Laden look really stupid. It's like a Looney Tunes sequence of like Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd when Cartman decides to take care of this prick. It's pretty funny. Basically, yeah, the kids get forced to send like money to Afghanistan children to help them. Of course, the government send them dollars, which makes no sense. You think they haven't converted to Afghanistan currency? The Afghanistan kids, after watching the Americans bomb everything of theirs, basically got 4 Afghan kids that are basically Stan, Kyle, Cartman, and Kenny. They just simply send like something in return, like a goat, a big brown package from Afghanistan. Yeah, of course it gets tested, which there's no anthrax, but you figured there by a guy checking the goat's mouth. It's so dodgy. And yeah, it turns out the goat's fine, it's just a gift. They send it back because it will choke on the sweet air of American freedom if it stays there. So bad. And yeah, the kids get sent to Afghanistan by accident, though they return the goat and they all get thrown into the same plane and get stuck there. It's pretty funny. Afghanistan is just this horrible place. You've got like donkey-controlled carts and stuff. Like, was it Carl says, no wonder terrorists come from places like this. If I grew up here, I'd be pissed off too. So they make us look awful. And yeah, Bin Laden is made to look like a complete idiot and just really stupid. It ends with the Taliban being destroyed and like the Afghani kids like somehow understand and talk English. And yeah, they have an argument about why like America started the war by like building military bases on like holy lands in Afghanistan. And yeah, make good points. You know, the Americans don't cost that well, and Stan Kyle just don't seem to understand that the Americans aren't as good as they seem. They just think the terrorists hate America, but the innocents don't, and they're wrong. Yeah, it's a good episode. And it's funny watching like the Afghanistan kids like be so similar. You got like they're exactly the same. You got the 2 normal ones. You got the fat one, and you got the robed one who then dies in a bomb from the Americans. So yeah, pretty funny. Let's see, it's very much of its time, that episode, but it's still a laugh just watching Bin Laden look like a complete idiot and Cartman dealing with him because he's just completely crazy. Yeah, it's a good one, but not one I really go back to often. Next episode, How to Eat with Your Butt. Okay, you can see that clearly enough. It's that one there of that picture of Kenny. Basically, Kenny gets inside his Parker the wrong way round, and Cartman thinks it's the funniest thing ever, puts pictures of him on a milk, on like lost milk cartons like a lost child, and then two adults with asses for heads. Oh, get a clearer shot. I do love these little pictures. Show up thinking that someone's found their son who's disappeared. There we go. And yeah, it's completely insane. They basically discover their missing kid is Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck has come to, and yeah, throughout the whole episode, Cartman has like completely lost his sense of humor. Once he sees these two asshead guys, that couple, he just like Luke can't laugh at anything, even like the funniest films ever in the cinema. Nothing makes him laugh until like, you know, he realises Ben Affleck's resemblance, which everyone sees. Mr. Garrison, wow, I never knew Ben had TBS, but I totally see it now. Yeah, this condition these two have got where everything about their bodies normal except for their faces. That's pretty good. And yeah, Cartman gets a sense of humour back. Kyle and Stan think it's because Cartman cared that they like were missing their kid, and now they found their kid he can love again. Cartman's just convinced he just found it so funny, he just blew a funny fuse, so who knows what the answer is, but yeah, it's pretty funny. Strange episode as well. It's pretty hilarious that two people would actually look like that, and that Ben Affleck is their son as well. And then again, that's Ben Affleck, like I've character's got his actual face on them, not like drawn a cartoony face, so it makes it even funnier. Next episode, The Entity. Oh yeah, that's the It episode. I should have done this in every single video. Basically, that device Mr. Garrison has got there is like a gyroscopic car that he gets inside. It's basically it lets you go really, really fast. It's a retaliation against the airports. How like terrible airport service really is. I mean, I'm glad I live in England where there's not that many airports, because obviously the UK is a lot smaller than the US. But yeah, if I was like, I don't know, had to fly across all of America over and over again, I'd probably hate it as well. And that's why these airports are just horribly run. They're just got a complete joke. And Mr. Garrison, basically, after being in the queue for like 2 days and misses his flight, builds a new device because he's got an engineering degree apparently. And yeah, it's basically this device that lets you go really, really fast, and it locks you in place by having parts of the machine secure you. It's really, really messed up. Let's just say it's this way: when Carl sees an effort, that looks pretty gay. That's basically what it is. Mr. Garrison's personality fits it perfectly with like the device he builds, and yeah, it turns out though there are ones that aren't so gay to use, which Mr. Garrison's quite surprised that people would want. Oh, that's pretty funny. Yeah, let's just say people don't particularly want to sit down after they've tested it out yet, despite how like horrific it is. It still beats air travel, so everyone's like on board. And yeah, of course, it all gets reset by the end. The government bail out the airline services, or basically fired all their staff because no one's using it, by shutting him down and making it as it's illegal. It's pretty great. As Garrison just ends the episode screaming his rage at like yeah, fucking airports. Yeah, I probably shouldn't say certain swear words. I still don't even know the rules, but I can imagine certain words are banned on YouTube. But yeah, you get the idea. This guy completely loses it. It's pretty funny. And the other plot is Kyle has this cousin also called Kyle show up, and he's just definition of every Jewish stereotype you can imagine. Kyle is aware of these stereotypes and avoids them. He's like a normal kid, but this kid, Kyle 1, as his mum calls him, is just everything wrong, like offensive about Jewish people. Yeah, he's like got terrible like hair. He's got an awful like exaggerated Jewish accent. He's got like no social skills. He's terrible at sports. I don't even know how to like catch a ball. And he's obsessed with money. When he meets Cartman, who's Kyle's bride, not to make one single offensive statement to him about Jewish people, he's just looking at his clothes and wondering how much he paid. And when he finds out that Kyle paid Kyle $40 not to say anything offensive, he's convinced he could have like paid less. And of course, he hopes to be an investment banker, and he invested in it. So when it gets shut down, he gets a huge cash payout and gets to go back home, using his millions of dollars to help his family. And of course, he doesn't even view himself as a stereotype. He views the guys as stereotypes, like typical mountain rednecks. It's great. It's just such a funny character. He does come back a few times. Yeah, he's a good one. Next episode, Here Comes the Neighborhood. This is the token-centric episode. I think this is like, other than the one where Cartman throws a rock in his head in series 4, I think this is like the only, the first big token episode. Basically, Token finally has enough that people like having to go at him for being rich, because of course he's so rich. He has like DVDs, he has official sports like clothing, he plays like baseball with an actual like aluminium or wooden bat, while the others just use sticks. And yeah, the kid's just tearing apart for being rich, and he just gets really upset and like tries making new groups of friends. He basically arranges for rich people to move to South Park, and yeah, people like Will Smith, Snoop Dogg, Bill Cosby, they all show up there, and like it's so terrible. The entire episode is just it's so racist, yet no one until the end views it as racism. Like, they do things like kick when the rich people try and get on the bus, they force them to sit at the front in first class seating, where they burn a big cross, which everyone thinks is just a T with the message "time to leave." They call them words like cash chucker and richer. It's like all so racist, yet somehow no one sees it as racism until the end, when the rich people are apparently scared of ghosts, so all the main characters put ghost costume on, which looks suspiciously like KKK costumes. And that's the point they realise this is a hate-filled town, and but of course even the adults didn't think it was racism. They thought they were just scaring them because they look like ghosts, with the exception of Mr. Garris, who finally admits what he was up to the whole time. It ends right before he can say the full racist word. It's pretty bad, but pretty damn funny. Just watching like how it's like, oh my god, they're going to be put at the back of the bus. Nope, it's the front because it's first class seating. It's really, really funny. And of course, while all that's going on, Token isn't fitting in with their kids either, because they're so rich, they don't want to do like anything, no rough and tumble games like having a snowball fight. They only want to like play polo and have hobbies like buying shops. Token then goes off and lives with lions, because they're the only creatures that play such barbaric games like having snowball fights. So Token moves in with a bunch of lions that somehow don't eat him, but instead introduce him to their leader Aslan, and his voice is just like the Aslan from the animated Narnia. And the lions all talk and they just like joking, and the lion's just completely insane. In the end, Token realises he wants to go back to his original friends. It turns out his original friends never disliked him, they just like to insult him, like how they insult everyone. And Token realises it's not so bad, so they just insult him for being a pussy, for getting upset about how they treated him. But it ends with Token wanting to be insulted for being rich again. And that's all about Token. No one's like has to go in being, there's no racism aimed at him. Cartman's got highly racist views, which will come out later, but Token is never treated racistly. It's just the adults, when like they act like they just want to scare rich people by dressing as ghosts, and it just comes across as racist. But it's just incredibly funny. And watching Token like hang out with these lions that look like they're going to eat him, but then seemingly accept him into their pride. Now they're just talking lions, and they do love having like thorns pulled out of their paws. Great stuff. Very funny episode. It's good to see Token get a major episode as well. And of course, it makes sense. Token's rich. It's going to bother him that he's richer than everyone else. Like, it's really good. Next episode is Kenny Dies. Now, I was listening to the commentaries on these. They're only like 3 minutes long, roughly, because unlike some like Simpsons, Futurama, they don't like talk for a whole episode. I mean, to be honest, there's only 2 of them. How are they going to talk about too much? But Kenny Dies is a great one. Basically, they wanted to kill Kenny off for good, but they didn't want his death to be a joke. They wanted it to be a serious one, like when Kyle's dying from like kidney failure, and Cartman's kidney is like the only hope, and it's kind of like that. It's like they just forget that Kenny, they forget anyway, but they forget that Kenny always dies. This is like as if their friend's actually going to die. He gets a terminal disease, and it's treated seriously. Stan can't cope with seeing what's going to happen. Cartman breaks down, and it's that he always thought him and Kenny are actually best friends, and Kyle is like there for Kenny but can't really do anything. And it's really well done. It's sounds like a good emotional serious episodes, and this is definitely one of them. They really show the emotion. They show that Kenny does matter to his friends, and even Cartman, who actually tries to approve stem cell research, although it's dodgy how after Kenny dies, they can't save him. Cartman uses the stem cells for himself. It's not as bad as it sounds. Not as offensive as it sounds. He uses them to build, it is offensive, I guess. He uses it to build a shaky pizza for himself as stem cells to replicate another Shakey's pizza. It's good luck having that thing, not be, destroyed by an angry mob. When stem cell gets banned again, research gets banned again. But Kenny does die. It's pretty sad. Chef has a good moral about the reason why innocent people dies, because God's just pissed off about something that happened thousands of years ago and has to take revenge by killing innocent people. There's some really funny moments, like the Make-A-Wish Foundation show up and seemingly don't expect that Kenny's wish is not to die. And they give him another option, in fact, meeting Madonna. Nope. Kenny doesn't think much of Madonna. What he says? She's a old dried up whore who's had a moment and now she speaks with a British accent and thinks she can play the guitar. She should go fuck herself. Fuck from her 5-10 episodes. And it's great how badly that Make-A-Wish thing goes. It's so true. People in that situation, surely that would be their wish. They don't want to just see a sports player. They want to live. And great episode. And it's really good. So yeah, come next episode as well, Kenny's not there at the end. Like, so I thought at first this was just a one-off, but no, this is actually when Kenny's like permanently dead. Yeah, next episode, Butters' very own one. Basically, it's given Butters the main episode like you had with Token. You see his home life. This is before his parents became like psychotically abusive, and it wasn't that funny that this is like more just his parents are complete morons. Basically, their anniversary's coming up. Butters' mum has no idea what to get her husband, so she asks, because she thinks that her husband will get her a much better present than she'll get him. She asks Butters to like follow him, and Butters follows his dad going to these gay bathhouses and cinemas, and has no idea what's going on because this is about Butters, and it's kind of bothered me after all these years, but it works well at the beginning. He's just so innocent and clueless. Like, he goes to a gay man's bathhouse, has no idea what's going on, even when he catches his dad doing something, and of course it just all goes wrong. Butters' dad is like, lying's wrong unless it's a certain circumstance, and yeah, they're not telling his mum what he saw his dad doing, but yeah, too late. He's already told his mum. She then decides to murder Butters by drowning him in the car and then hanging herself, but the car somehow floats down a river, and her husband stops her from hanging herself. They come up with this perfect cover story about how some Puerto Rican guy abducted their child. They just get they make a bunch of new friends who've all who've all been affected by some Puerto Rican guy. People like O.J. Simpson claimed his wife was murdered by some Puerto Rican guy. You got like these a couple of their names, but the ones that clearly who were believed to have murdered their child. They even appeared in Family Guy cutaway. All support Chris and Linda, or Stephen and Linda. They seem to rename the dad a lot on like how some Puerto Rican guys like ruined so many people's lives, and some Puerto Rican guys like the lead of like that's America's Most Wanted. It's absolutely great. And in the end, it's like falling apart. Linda now wants to change it, saying it's some, I think, Mexican guy, and his dad is like changing the story repeatedly, so it just gets too confusing. Like, your lies got us into this first place. Like, my lies may be deceitful, but yours cover up something much more horrible. And yeah, Butters returns home. They like go out for their anniversary meal, and they decide just be honest and tell everyone the truth. Like, Butters' mum wanted to murder Butters, and Butters' dad was having sex with all these men for months. It's pretty funny. And yeah, Butters fine. I had no idea that any of this was going on. He was like, oh my god, and realises, yeah, his parents are messed up. And yeah, that's the end of the episode. And of course, at the end, Stan and Carl are calm there, but not Kenny. So yeah, it was a permanent thing that Kenny was gone. So yeah, that's series 5. Really, really funny. Great. Got great new characters like Jimmy introduced, who him, as you can see from the cover, Timmy ain't too happy. And you've got like characters like Token and Butters getting like episodes themselves and much more development. You've got like great episodes that are going to really stand out because of how things changed. Like the David Blaine episode, because Mohammed could be shown in 2001 but couldn't later. I just wonder if they're actually going to go back to Mohammed anytime soon. Like, surely enough time passed. Well, series 14 was 2010, so yeah, we're over 10 years since then. Who knows? Maybe, but I suppose they kind of wrapped that stuff up well with the episode 200 to 1. Hopefully that will make it to series 14 one day, and then I'll buy the sets. I mean, I've only got series 1 to 13 and series 15 to 24. Was it 23? No, 24. And then the others just haven't had a DVD release yet, because I have no idea what the actual plan is, if it's 6 episodes and specials or a whole series. Who knows? But yeah, so that's the end. So I'll do series 6 at some point as well. I probably won't rewatch every single episode, but like a lot of these, I can remember everything just like that. But it was nice to rewatch them. But yeah, so that's it. So please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.